Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm CarloBaseball. With me, as always, is WillPower and Tony Snap. Before we begin our show, I just want to thank everybody that has subscribed. We reached 151, which is a milestone for us, and thank you guys for doing that. I didn't think we were that popular, I guess, but but you know, if you guys are listening to the show, I just want to give you guys a big thank you. I know Will and Tony appreciate that as well as I do. But let's go ahead and start our show as a fantasy edition. And we have our comeback, sleeper, and our bust. So we're going to start the show with Tony giving us his comeback player for fantasy baseball. So Tony, give us your pick.
My comeback player for this year is going to be Javier Baez. I think we can all agree he had a pretty bad season, 2020.
Yeah.
His batting average was at 230. His on-base percentage was at 238.
Yeah.
Well, actually, his batting average was 203, which is really low.
Yeah.
And he's not that player. I feel like he's not. So I really expect a better year from him. At least batting average wise, man. Because 203, that's really low.
That's that Mendoza line. You know, he's almost hitting that. So it's like, that's bad.
Yeah. But I think he can. I remember there was a season where Cody Bellinger was hovering around the Mendoza line as well, you know, and
then he stepped it up.
Exactly. So I feel like he knows it as well. You know, he probably hears a lot of fans and, you know, a lot of the naysayers, and I feel like sometimes that's motivation for players to, you know, come through. So,
and who even knows if he'll be on the Cubs by opening day? They're trying to pull off all these trades right now. They let Shortstop go, and then they traded Darvish, and now they're talking Contreras and possibly Chris Bryant. Carlos, we talked about that on our last podcast.
Which will air soon. I'm working on it. So
I was like, I didn't see that.
I'll go ahead and post that up so you won't. So this show won't be like, what happened? I didn't see that. But yeah, it should be up before this show. I see the numbers and I do understand why he's a comeback hitter. Well, not hitter, but comeback for fantasy baseball. But one thing I want to ask you, Tony, do you think that with all the trades the Cubs has done and actually thinking about doing, do you think that Javier Baez is going to be one of those players, if he's with the Cubs, of course, like Will mentioned, you don't think he'll be kind of distracted and kind of not there this season because all these things are happening, or you think that he's still going to go out and play his game?
I think he has to come out and play his game. With a 203 batting average, I mean, you better come back with some fire, especially considering where he's been in the past few years. You know, his last two seasons, not counting 2020, he's been an all-star candidate, and in 2018 he was ranked number 2 in MVP. I think he was on the cover of 2020 MLB The Show. Yeah. You know? So
I just got done with that game right before I started recording with you guys.
So, I mean, he better, man. He better, because he is good, man. He is.
So what round do you predict he's going, though? If he is your comeback, what round is he going in? And what round would you pick him in?
He's going round, let's see, what round is that? Round 7 normally.
Okay.
His average round pick is 84. So he's going to be going around round 7, if not like late round or early round 8.
Yeah, and he's a big name, so I don't think he'll go that deep into, you know, into those rounds, because he's a big name for a lot of fantasy teams. They actually go like, oh, Javier Baez is still available. Should I pick him up now? Because maybe now will be a perfect time. And if you're saying he's a comeback, and a lot of people I think are thinking the same thing. I don't think a lot of people felt that 203 batting average was him last year. I think as the season prolongs and the season continues with him, actually, it's better for that player. And since last year was a short season, I don't think it's a full sample, because he always gets hot at the end of the season into the playoffs, right? So I agree with that pick. I'll go ahead and make that pick myself. So I don't have anything against it. Will, do you have something against that pick?
No, not at all. I completely agree with you. And actually, the only reason why I didn't choose him is because I knew you were going to choose him. I mean, I kind of.
Oh, you wanted to give me something to talk about. See?
Well, I didn't want to give the same player. That way we could, talk about something different. But I completely agree with you. He is an amazing candidate for a comeback player.
In your face, sucker!
Another thing too is he signed a 1-year deal with the Cubs, so he was a free agent this past offseason, but in the middle of the season he signed another 1-year contract, so he's going to be with the Cubs for at least another season. But if they're trying to do this fire sale like we think they might do, then he could be a trade candidate also. They signed him for 11.6 million, okay. And for the type of production that we think that he can do, that's a steal. This guy's worth probably 17 million a year, closer to 20 for sure.
Yeah, he's got a good glove.
Exactly. He's so smooth, man. He's so smooth, and he can play multiple positions also. So that's good for any team, not just fantasy wise, but if he were to go to a team that already has a starting shortstop, he can go to third, he can go to second. He's so versatile. So that's a great pick in my opinion.
Yeah, and you didn't pick him. Who do you pick?
Actually, I pick kind of off the rails. I picked Jorge Polanco. Jorge Polanco, a few seasons ago, he just looked like he was going to be like the next big thing, I actually picked him up the year that he kind of broke out, and he helped me win the league that year. I say that a lot about a lot of players, but it's usually those guys that you can get off a free agency or the waiver wire that's really going to help you win your league, not the guys that you draft so much, because those guys are definitely going to help you also, but you always kind of need like that X factor, that extra guy that no one even knows about, just pick him out of the blue. And man, Jorge Polanco, I think he's primed to come back hard. He only hit 258 last season with only 4 home runs. Season before that, he hit 296 with 22 home runs.
Yeah.
So I think the shortened season, it really put a damper on a lot of these guys' production.
Yeah.
But I think the full season coming ahead, I think he's definitely gonna have some better production.
It's crazy. You're mentioning a guy that's not really like to baseball fans. You might know who he is. I mean, of course, we all know who he is, right? He plays for the Twins, but there's not a lot of people out there that actually know who this guy is. Like they know
he's not a star.
Exactly. No. The Baez, the Seagers, Tatis, right? Those are big names. We're talking about Trevor Story and all this big shortstops. But then you bring him up, and you're saying, I could probably steal him at a later round. I shouldn't worry about picking up a shortstop like so early in the round. Like, what round would you pick him in, Will?
He's going like in the last rounds.
Yeah,
he's going in the last rounds.
Yeah,
he's leaving late, but because of this low batting average, I don't think that's even that low.
He's going 229 overall.
Are you
so
serious?
That's round 19, round 20.
Wow, and
so,
his numbers, like batting average wise,
it's good.
I'm looking at
very
numbers,
very productive.
It's steady. It's
exactly.
It's steady. He has home run production, he's not going to get you that many, but 22 home runs. Let's say he does do that 2019 this season. That's solid, dude. And then you're talking about RBIs. You're talking about doubles.
Yeah, because Minnesota has a good lineup.
Yeah, so run production is going to be there. So I love that pick, Will. I honestly love it. I didn't even think of him being on. I could even think of a sleeper.
That's what I was thinking. More of a sleeper.
Yeah, I mean, but comeback.
He could be definitely a good sleeper also.
Yeah, and thank you for that, man. I'm gonna keep that in mind.
But kind of like what you're saying, like this guy in the later rounds. I don't know if you guys noticed, but your pick, Javier Baez, going 84 overall.
That's crazy.
That's going past Ketel Marte, Gleyber Torres.
Yeah, there's a lot of good players in front of him.
Xander Bogaerts, Bregman, Adalberto Mondesi. Who's going to take Adalberto Mondesi before they take Javier Baez? That's so stupid to me. I know he's going to steal you a bunch of bases. He's going to get 40 to maybe even 60 home runs because he's freaking fast, right? But still, man, like, why would you choose that guy?
Exactly, like Mondesi. What? my god, dude! Like that's we're understanding what you're saying. Well, like who's gonna pick these guys like over him? Is over Polanco?
Yeah.
Look at Mondesi. He's going 28 overall, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's round
that's the third
three.
round.
Why?
Round 3.
Why would you take this guy in round 3?
Yeah. See,
all these guys around him: Max Scherzer, Luis Castillo, Jack Flaherty, Ozzy Albies, Nolan Arenado. He's going before Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Should we flush this one or what? I think we should flush it.
These aren't my rankings. These are just ADP. All right, this is average draft position. So this is what they're projecting is going to be the average draft pick for these particular players, and this is coming from 4 different websites. I have it from Fantasy Pros, RTS, NFBC, and FT, and then there's an average.
Even ESPN has them ranked high.
Hey man, you better be right, Will, because if you're saying these guys didn't know what they were doing, man, it's gonna suck. Maybe they can sign you and
put
do
the show on the map.
Go ahead, Tony.
I mean, I agree with Will, and he's my bust. If we just want to move on to the next round,
go for it.
He's my bust just because for that reason. He doesn't have power. The only thing he's been known for is stealing bags, but I would much rather have a guy that can produce 20 home runs and a pitcher around him, like you said, Arenado, Max Scherzer. Like all these guys are so much better and have a much higher value as to Alberto Mondesi. Like I just don't see it. I think the only reason they're ranking them up that high is just because they're projecting steals, and maybe some people put into their head because he hasn't even been known to have a great glove either. No. You know, I feel like I think you will agree, Will. Do you have him as your bust?
He's up there as my bust, but no, I don't have him as my number one bust. My number one bust is the guy that's going number 3 overall, man. And that's Fernando Tatis Jr.
Oh, okay.
Are you saying that because you're a Dodger fan?
No, he's saying it because I chose him number 2.
Oh,
I completely understand why he is ranked so high, but when it comes to fantasy baseball, it's some of it can be a gamble, but that's way too much of a gamble for me, man. To take that guy ahead of
number
guys
3,
like Mookie Betts, that's been so consistent for the past 8 years, and Mike Trout, and even Arenado. I would never get Tatis over Arenado. Arenado's going to hit you 40 home runs.
Or Soto. I would rather have Soto.
Yeah, Juan Soto, man. There's so many hitters that are taken after Tatis. I don't understand why he's being taken 3rd overall, especially over guys like Garrett Cole and Jacob deGrom.
Yeah. Wow. To me, he's a early round 3 guy, late round 2.
Exactly.
Hey, and that's why he's my bust. Though.
I don't think that he's going to be a bad player. I think he's going to have some really good production. Yep. But at number 3
number
overall,
1, man, yeah.
That's such a bust for me.
That's my number 1 though. That's my number 1.
Hey, I'll CC you in the email that I'm gonna send later.
Hey, he could blow everyone out of the water, right? Because he has that potential. He could hit 40 home runs and steal 10 to 15 bases with a 300 average. Yeah. But
he could fall off like Pete Alonso kind of did, you know?
Yeah.
You know, we were all expecting another great season. You know, he had 54 home runs.
Or even Javi Baez, right?
Yeah, that too. He'd just fall off.
Like there's so much hype about this guy, and I get it. I have hype about him too. But to take him number 3 overall, that's way too much of a gamble for me to take.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you're saying that, it actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm picking him number 1 as a shortstop, but at number 3. He's kind of like a big, that's
a big risk.
That's a huge risk. He's only been in the MLB and the show for 2 years. And then for him to go number 3. So where's Mike Trout going? If you know what, we'll wait for the outfielders to do that. I just wanted to get you guys excited. But we'll go ahead and we'll do that after the third baseman. But 3rd overall, like I can see he being a bust. You know, if you can go ahead and pick up Mookie Betts or you can pick up Mike Trout, and you choose not to do that because Tatis is ranked number 3, and you decide to go after that, you're losing a lot of numbers on home runs, doubles, triples, stolen bases, and all that stuff.
Fantasy pros for Tatis, his projections for 2021, it does merit a number 3 overall pick. They're projecting he's going to hit 293, 35 home runs, 23 stolen bases, and have over 100 runs, right? If you can get that type of production from him, I understand picking him 3rd overall, but I really don't think that he's going to hit all those marks. I think he's going to end 280 with close to 30 home runs, and I don't think he's going to steal 23 bags.
Wow, that's a lot. The prediction is pretty bold, though. The prediction is like having
really is bold.
Yeah, it hasn't really high. Why? Like he hasn't finished the whole season. Like,
it's hype, man.
It's
hype.
It's all hype. And you know what? I think I'm gonna change my number 1 pick to Trevor Story. Will I'll just go ahead and do that now. I haven't picked,
which is why I moved him over from my number 1 too, because I was on the hype train too. I had him as my number 1 until I thought about it a little longer, and I was like, you know what? Francisco Lindor has been more consistent.
Yes.
And I would much rather have like Mookie Betts and then be able to pick Francisco Lindor, because Lindor is going in round 17, which is like early round 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, overall.
Yeah. So, yeah, my bad. I meant to say overall, but I would much rather have like Mookie Betts or Mike Trout, and then probably have a potential of getting like Francisco Lindor or Manny Machado as my shortstop.
So Tony, I'm guessing that you agree with Will then that he is going to be a bust.
Not necessarily that he is going to be a bust, but I mean it has the
potential
at the pick
that he is. At the pick that he is. Okay, so just to make it clear, I mean he is a great player, right? We all agree that he's a great player. He's shown his potential. He showed that he could do a lot more, but we haven't seen a full season from this guy. And for him to be number 3 overall, that's what you guys are kind of like, no, you can hold off. You'll wait for one of those rookie fantasy players to pick him up, right? Before you guys
let's say like those projections that we talked about for him, let's say they all come true, right? For 2021, I still wouldn't have him number 3 overall for 2022 because that's only one full season that we see him in. It's like it'll be like 1.5 seasons. I need to see this guy at least 2 full seasons before I can really, really like say like this guy is legit, 100% legit. I can say that about Mookie Betts because he's done it every single year. I can say that about Mike Trout because he's done it every single year. You could have drafted Cody Bellinger number 1 overall after his MVP season, and that would have been a huge bust, a huge letdown, and I don't necessarily think that Tatis is going to be like that where he's going to drop off so much, but I don't see him hitting that mark. And even if he does, I still don't trust it until I see maybe 300 games in his career. I'd love to see like 1,000 to 1,500 at bats from this guy before I can really make that like final judgment.
I think that's your conscience knocking. You're saying don't pick Tatis number 3 overall.
Hell no.
Wait.
Like Tony said, end of round 2 or like beginning of round 3, I can understand that type of pick. But man, 3 overall.
I like that you guys are talking about this. You're giving our viewers a really good. You guys dived into this, which is really good. I appreciate that. I'm pretty sure as a viewer, you're looking at this and you're like, oh, why not Tatis number 3? But there's so many other shortstops you can pick at a later round when you can pick up better players in that first round.
Exactly.
There's not enough.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you could say better, but definitely just proven.
Exactly.
Just someone with an actual track record. Because Tatis has only been around for, 2019 and 2020. He played like half a season.
He played 80 something games in 2019.
Yeah. So combine those 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's not even 300 yet. Yeah, it's not even 300 games yet. So what you're saying, Will, is that you want those 300 sample, right? You want to see and then have the average through those 300 games and then see what he actually can do. And that's really good. That's really cool. I like it. Back to your bus, Tony. Is that Raul Mondesi's son? I believe so, right? Remember Raul Mondesi? Oh, it is the right fielder. What was it? The left fielder, right fielder for the Dodgers. The cannon,
right fielder,
the bazooka. This guy can throw, man. That guy can throw. But dude, he's been in the league for 5 years, and I don't see nothing really good for him. Like it's
no, he's a pretty mediocre player,
and he's going. Come on, nah, man, that sucks.
No way. Just. I mean, Alberto Mondesi, average draft pick 28. I would much rather have Bregman, Bogarts, Seager, Anderson. Look at all these guys behind him that I'm naming off. They're great.
Jose Abreu, the AL MVP, right?
Exactly.
The reigning AL MVP is taken 7 picks later.
Yeah.
After Adalberto Mondesi. I understand that stolen bases are very scarce because no one steals anymore.
Nah, no one steals bases.
It's like the Ricky Hendersons of the world are gone now. You're not going to see 80 stolen bases in a season anymore. It's like the most you'll see is maybe 40 to 50. Remember when Trey Turner was like, I'm going to try to steal 70 bases next season, and then he got hurt, so it never happened. Yeah. And then this past season, he had what, 15? 16, something like that. He definitely was still stealing bases, but it's like there's no more small ball.
Hey,
it's boom or bust. It's home runs or strikeouts.
Hey, does anybody I think our young viewers know what a stolen base is? Because I don't think they know. I honestly don't think they know, man. We're talking about old ancient baseball where they used to steal bases, right?
I don't think they would know what a bunt is. Probably stealing, they probably do.
Exactly, man. That sucks.
They know what stealing is.
Don't have any more to add to this, we can go ahead and move on to our sleeper, which we kind of touched on it a little bit, but we didn't give out our players. So we'll go ahead and start with you, Will, on this one. Or you guys have something else to say about this bust?
No, I don't think so.
All right, cool. Will,
just don't pick him.
Yeah, just no, that's it. Go ahead, Will.
So my sleeper is the guy that the Mets traded for Francisco Lindor. That's Ahmed Rosario. Ahmed Rosario went over to the Indians, right? And this guy, like he was kind of like up and coming, right? He's still really young. They kind of had him primed to be like the Mets starting shortstop for years to come. But now that they pulled off that trade for Frankie Lindor, they don't really need that, right? But I see this guy really stepping up his game. He's going to be a free agent soon.
Yeah. For a shortstop, he doesn't have that bad numbers though. He was like I said, for a shortstop, right? You have your shortstops, and then you have your shortstops that are like, Yeah, I think he's there.
He doesn't have a lot of power production, right? A lot of shortstops don't. But if you look at his 2019 numbers, he batted .287 with 15 home runs, 19 stolen bases. So he's running too.
Yeah.
Honestly, in fantasy baseball, especially in categories leagues, stolen bases are a hot commodity. If you can get someone that's going to steal you, if you can get 3 players that have 20 stolen bases, you're going to win that category for sure. Pretty much every week, in points leagues, it's only worth 1 point for each stolen base. So it's not that valuable. So stolen bases are definitely more valuable in categories leagues versus points. But this guy, he only batted .252 with 4 home runs and no stolen bases in 2020. Only 20 runs scored. So very, very down year for him. But I definitely see him as someone that's primed to make like a comeback, So that's why I picked him as my sleeper. And
a change of scenery might be something that he needed actually too. Sometimes that's a good thing, and we talked about this a lot of times. We're gonna do it. We talked about a bit with Lindor. He's going with the Mets. He's been good at the beginning of his career, and then his number's been going down. But maybe he needs that change of scenery so he can go ahead and produce. He's not going to have any pressure. I mean, New York gives you a lot of pressure with the Mets or with the Yankees, right? So he was probably under a lot of pressure, and if he does have a better year, he'll be a really good sleeper, Will, and you heard it here first, so that'll be really dope, man.
Yeah, he's going 309 overall, so he's not even getting drafted.
So you won't draft him, or would you pick him, or would you?
If he gets hot?
I would wait until after the season starts and kind of see like how he plays. If I have a shortstop that like my backup shortstop, or or my primary, if one of them gets injured or something, then he's a guy that I could possibly pick up, if he gets on a hot streak or something. And I believe this guy can get on a hot streak. If he just judging from 2019 numbers, hitting 287, that's solid. Even if he's not, there in the power production, I would not mind having him as my backup shortstop.
Oh, Tony, do you agree with that?
Yeah and no. Just because he's not being drafted, you know what I mean? And I feel like for like a sleeper, like you might want to like your Jorge Polanco. I feel like he's like really a great sleeper.
Yeah, I can't pick the same guy sleeper.
I know, but I'm just saying like to me he's like seems like a great candidate for a sleeper. For Rosario, I never seen anything out of him that made me go wow, So I've always seen him as like I remember there was like a little bit of a hype behind him when he was coming up, like his rookie year.
Yeah.
But kind of to like take over Jose Reyes, and
yeah, exactly.
But he's never lived up to that. His best season is 15 home runs. That's nothing. I mean, it's good, But to be honest, I mean, there's much more. Exactly, I want a lot more, and which is why my sleeper was Carlos Correa for Houston. I feel like Carlos Correa, he's going yeah, they're gonna be calling. Just put him on hold. But Carlos Correa's average draft pick is 141, about 125 in other websites, which is going around round 10 or 11, and he has the capability of being a top 10 guy, maybe even top 5. His past few seasons, he's hit above 20 home runs. Don't answer that, bro. Unhook it. I feel like he's gonna be a great sleeper just because this next season he's gonna be, if he can stay healthy. Let's be honest too, because he's been complaining about like lower back issues. The last 2 seasons, but we've seen Kershaw come back from lower back injuries and just been fucking dominant too.
Yeah.
And I see that especially happening with Carlos Correa because I feel like he's gonna have a lot to prove. He hears all the fans out there calling him a cheater and all that. He's gonna want to prove them wrong. Not just that, he's gonna be a free agent next year. He's gonna want to get paid. Yeah. So I feel like for going round 10, round 11, to potentially being a type of player that you can trade for a round 5 or round 6, I think he's a great sleeper, and I would definitely be picking him up. If I see him in round 10, I'm swooping him up.
Okay, but okay, so you said that he's your sleeper, right?
Sleeper, yeah.
You don't think his name alone is something to be scared of, to not pick him up earlier? I guess what I'm trying to say, because you know the name is out there. Carlos Correa is known. He's known. He's really known. I've never seen his numbers really that well. Like a lot of people say that he has batting average, he has home runs. I mean, in the 20s, that I guess he's producing, right? But as to be an elite shortstop, for me, it's not really that catching. A sleeper can be that. But I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing, because his batting average is not there for me. His on base percentage is there. It is there, but I don't see it. Maybe I'm hating on him, huh?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Maybe I'm hating on him.
He's a 270 hitter average. He's been around the league for 6 years. I mean, he's been consistent. It does sound like you're hating on him. And
I think I am hating on him.
I hate him too, to be honest. I mean, last episode, I hated picking Altuve. But let's be honest, man. We're all human, and when we're told that we can't do something or that, you know what I mean, we want to redeem ourselves. We want to prove all the naysayers wrong, and I feel like the Houston Astros are in a unique position to actually show up. And I feel like George Springer, he's gonna show up wherever he's traded to. And
okay, so Tony, before we forget about this guy. His best season was 2017. That's why I'm trying to get to, and I'm seeing the numbers, and that's why, like, we have friends that actually love this guy. They love him,
Yeah.
and you know who we're talking about, and hopefully we're talking about. And I just want to say, like, 2017. 2017. That's the only year that he's hit over 300. 2017.
And with a bunch of bombs too.
Exactly. So what you're saying, Tony, is that he needs to step up and he needs to show everybody, contract year or not, he needs to do it. And if you're wrong, I'm going to come back to this and tell you you're wrong.
I told you we should have hated on him.
We should have hated on him. You should have been backing me up. Will, what do you think, man? Is that a sleeper?
I honestly,
Are you going to back me up?
I've never really seen him as like a shortstop that I was really like looking for. You know, after 2017, everyone wanted him, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, man, like I've never really like looked at him like, oh, I need to get that shortstop right there.
Yeah.
It was always between like him and Seager. They were always kind of like comparable to each other, and they were both injury prone. They both had like very similar numbers, and Seager's been excelling and he's been declining. And the thing with Correa is his defense stands out so much. He has one of the best fielding and arms out of most shortstops.
I agree. So, I can't hate on the guy because of that. So yeah,
you can't cheat with defense. You know, either you have the skills or you don't.
Yeah.
But you know, when it comes to this guy with him and Altuve playing second base, they were just so smooth all the time. You know, they turned so many double plays, even a couple triple plays, a couple times, and
they were cheating.
That's what I see. I think that's why he's ranked as such a high shortstop, because, you know, including his defense in there. But when it comes to fantasy wise, I don't really see him as that type of player. He definitely has something to prove, right? And he started showing what he could do in the beginning of the season last year. He was the only Astro that was actually like hitting pretty good, other than Kyle Tucker, who was a rookie. But towards the end of the season, he just kind of started like falling off until the playoffs. And then the playoffs, he turned it around again. So if we see that guy that we saw in the beginning of the season and in the playoffs, that's really the guy that, you know, everyone's going to want on their team. And that'll make him a legitimate sleeper because of how late he's going.
How late is he going? What round is he going in?
He's going round 10. And like you mentioned, Will, he's pretty compared to Corey Seager. Corey Seager's going round like 50. What is it?
He's 35 overal.
35.
And
yeah,
I feel like we can make that comparison pretty good. That Corey Seager and Carlos Correa are pretty similar players. Carlos Correa is probably a right-handed batter, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
he is.
I think so. But so I honestly feel like, remember how I said earlier that you can pick him up at round 10, round 11, and possibly trade him for a guy around the same round as Corey Seager went. You know, which Corey Seager is going 37 overall, which will be round 4. Well, I said round 5. You can probably trade for a guy in round 5. And that's a lot of good players around that area. You know, top 50. For a guy that I picked up 100. You know what I mean? Like a lower 100 player overall. Because some websites have them as 141 and others have them at 121.
Yeah.
So I would much rather pick up Carlos Correa, and then possibly, if he does become that sleeper that I'm hoping that he will be, and trade him off. That's my train of thought, man. He'll be like my trade bait. Exactly. For a round 5 guy, dude, I can do so much with that.
Wow, that's good, man. I like your pick. I hate on the guy. Too bad. You know, but there you have it. We gave you comeback, sleeper, and bust. Not in that order, of course. Anything you guys want to add before we go ahead and sign out from the show?
Just if you guys have any questions, just email us realtalkbaseball@yahoo.com. We'll get back to you as soon as we get to it. if you guys have any suggestions for the show, just let us know. Either drop it in the comments or email.
Let me write an email right now and say, why do you hate Tony?
Always going against my picks, man.
We're gonna have to create that a hashtag. Why do you hate Tony? Hashtag. All right, cool. This is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. This is WillPower and Tony Snap. You guys can give us a little bit of more credit and subscribe to our channel. And we do have our social media, which is Instagram, TikTok, and
Twitter.
The other one, Twitter, exactly. We don't have a Facebook anymore. I keep saying that. So this is Real Talk Baseball signing out.
See you guys.